We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what this is Salsitas Mendoza Hellfire hot sauce. And not much here on the label to go on. A whole lot on their website. So I think the story is that this is another one that was doing farmers market sauces and salsas. And it transitioned into... They were popular enough to the point where, and this is, I don't think, an uncommon hot sauce story, to the point where they're bottling it and trying to get it on store shelves and so on and so forth. So I did write about this at some length on the blog. Definitely check that out. Link is below in the description. But let's look at our lineup. We have habanero, arbol, vinegar, lime juice, spices, and sea salt. Honestly, the lime doesn't really read in this. I will say too also that after the initial, where I had to off pour some of this, it was full, like right literally to the top of this, and I had to pour off some of this in order to agitate it because it was not suspended. Since, however, that initial shake and pour off, it has stayed pretty suspended. So let's take a look at it. You can see it does have some little bit of good pourability to it. It's not bad. You can see there are flecks of pepper and other, probably oregano, that type of thing. There's definitely cumin in here. And let's just see how it pours out. Okay. So I will say this. I love the color. This is a really pretty sort of dark orange red, and I think it's gorgeous. Like the little flecks in there I'm not a huge fan of, but I think the sauce itself looks great. It's a really very pretty color, so I like the color of this quite a lot. Now as far as the flavor though, that's kind of where we get off the rails a little bit, but in terms of, you can see it flows pretty well. It sticks okay. I don't know if it sticks great, but honestly that's not a huge factor, I don't think, with Mexican table sauces anyway. The stickiness factor, that's more for when you want things to stick to wings and chicken strips, and I don't know about you, but Mexican sauces very rarely, if ever, go on there for me. So alright, let's take a little shot at this. It tastes like what it is, which is a Mexican style table sauce. Now, a lot of those will taste almost like liquefied taco seasoning, more to the point. That's kind of where this one is. I can pick up a lot of those other ingredients. There is a solid backburn from the habaneros that is pretty difficult to miss. So there's a good amount that's one of the big complaints I think with Mexican table sauces, is that they're not picante enough. This one definitely ratchets that up. However, it is got a harshness and a bit of bitterness and abrasiveness. This one is, but it's got a bit of harshness and bitterness and abrasiveness to it that I don't really enjoy. And it's kind of hard to mask that because it's so prominent. And I think this is because, you know, I don't know for sure because I don't see how they make this, but my guess is that they have stepped on it a bit with some of the dry spices and they haven't had a chance to mill properly. So maybe this is something that needs to be aged more or cooked more or something along those lines, but it is very in your face with all that kind of stuff. And all the other commercial sauces, you have like Cholula is a good example. You have a nice rich smoothness to it, which is completely absent here. This is as much of a punch in the face as anything. So here I happen to have an El Monterey sausage, egg, cheese burrito, and let's just sauce this puppy up. And we're gonna let it sit here for a couple seconds, just because you know the drill. I don't like cold sauce on certain hot foods. And here's kind of what we're looking at. So we're gonna let it warm up, but I think they have the makings of what could be a really good sauce here. I have some reservations like this. I don't think this is a great label. I think they probably want to reconsider what they're doing here. I think calling something Hellfire is maybe something that should be rethought as a name, because you know, in one respect, the hot sauce game has changed considerably, and Hellfire with using just habaneros is not probably a reasonable thing, because Hellfire is denoting something really hot, and this isn't. This is, like I said, maybe a 2 on the heat scale. And there are companies with Hellfire in their name, and yes, I did say companies plural. And I think you get into, you know, whether or not, you know, you want to fight about the name, I think you could get into brand confusion, even in sort of a best case scenario. So for me, I would not probably use that name. You can definitely call it something else, I think, but you know, a lot of the stuff on the market has started just like this, where they've made something home and they liked it and their family liked it and they took it on the road, friends liked it, they said you should go take it to the farmer's market and stuff, people liked it, so it's not uncommon. This one, I don't know that it would catch on quite to that level. You know, even like the Valentina's extra hot, there's still a smoothness to that sauce that I think you have to have if you're going to have the expectation is there if you're going to have that kind of commercialized sauce. I can't think of anything on the market nationally, like in stores and stuff, that is quite that abrasive. But okay, so like I was saying, it is better with things that have cheese, and I like to have a little Mexican sauce on my breakfast food, so we'll take a stab at this. It's almost, I don't know if you guys remember a product called Hot Shot. I think McCormick made it, and it was red pepper and black pepper, but if you use too much of it, it would step on heat in a big way, but if you use too much of it, it would bitter it like crazy. That's what this reminds me of. And it's a very competitive field, like I said in other videos, so. This does work better with a cheese component. It does help to smooth things out a little bit. Without that, this is, I mean, you can see, I've done extensive testing on it. Like, I'm not just saying this because I don't want to do this. 2/3 of this bottle is gone. And, you know, I like the underdog stories. You always kind of root for the small guy. But this one is just not easy to use. Even here, I'd rather have something else. And when you have a sauce that makes you wish for a different sauce, that seems to me a problem. At least for the hot sauce manufacturers. Yeah, I was hoping it would improve over usage. It hasn't, and this is going to be farewell for the sauce after this video. But if they were able to refine this a little bit more, if they were able to develop the flavors a little bit more, so you don't have that harshness and that bitter abrasiveness to it, I think they would have a winner, because this one, you have a base that makes for a strong Mexican style sauce, and I think their base is in the right area. I think, like a lot of other sauces though, in their quest for heat, they have stepped all over flavor, and they're not the first one, and they probably won't be the last one either, but it's kind of where this one is. So, but there it is, Salsitas Mendoza Hellfire hot sauce.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.